auto-uploaded a video earlier. There was no audio. I deleted that video. You know, often I hate deleting videos so much that videos like that I just mark it. But I noticed that the views just keep going up even though the title says bad audio, so I just delete it. But anyway, I was just kind of talking a little bit about what I think some of the basic differences are. I had to explain to Dinah's cat loves me. Can I just call you Dinah's cat? You know, that I didn't mean to be insulting, but I expressed to him that, you know, I find it a little offensive all the time, people saying how simple something like a paramecium is. You know, how simple. And it's like a thermostat. You know, and I said, if it's so simple, you know, there's a lot of Nobel Prizes in it for you. And he said, why do I have to get insulting? I'm like, well, I'm not being insulting. I'm just expressing some of my frustration. And he described his frustration back to me. He thought I wasn't answering about memory. But see, we have different concepts. You know, certainly people say memory, they're thinking of their own little holodeck inside their head. That's what memory means to them. But you know what? That's the solipsistic knowledge you can only know about yourself. You know, most definitions, most cases of something we call memory are going to mean in something else that we're going to have to describe a behavioral definition of how we know it's memory and the demonstration of memory. You can't just say, well, does it feel like my experience? You'll never know that, not even for another human being. But, okay, the basic differences. For example, with conference report, you know, many times you say, no, there's no mechanism. They don't have the mechanism to do this, what we do. And see, to me, the reason I think it's logical to think that animals have awareness, that plants and all life has awareness of the things that it appears to have awareness of, is because we are constructed with the same machinery. It's exactly the same machinery. I mean, did you guys pay attention in biology class? These things are far from simple. And we've discovered it's exactly the same machinery as us. The similarities way outweigh the differences, which are mere details. Now, they could be important details, like the detail of having eyeballs and retinas and stuff means you have vision. Could be important details, make a big difference to you as an individual. But like statistically overall, the billions of years of single-celled life, that's where most of the commonality of evolution is. We have a lot longer as the same than we have had differentiating. So it doesn't mean that, you know, consciousness could be one of the properties like an eyeball that only certain of the animals have, certain of the creatures. Fine, but to go, well, what mechanism? It's the totally opposite thing to me. Because this is the other thing. My perspective is very much influenced by the fact that, as I've said before, I guess I was blessed or cursed with the ability to watch myself think from a young age. You know, I remember reading about momentum the first time and I was like 5 or 6 or 7. And it was a little pamphlet also said the history and some other theories. And see, it was like, I didn't just learn about momentum, but it's like what mankind had thought, and I remember what I had thought before and how I thought after, how it made me feel. And I've just seen this argument that, oh, that mouse isn't really panicking and trying to escape, he's just this, or he's just that, just a reaction. And then, you know, that's 30 years ago. Now, when I'm a kid, now people are like, well, okay, grant it there, but that bug, no. Okay, well, the bug. But that paramecium, no. You know, it's like, offer something that distinguishes between life and non-life. You know, because it is a little bit offensive when you guys go, when I say something about life, and you're like, well, then, I had one person in real life was like, what about a paper bag blowing in the wind? That looks alive. And I'm like, it doesn't look, that really looks alive to you. I don't mean like, hey, we can sit there and pretend it's alive. I mean, you're fooled, it's alive. So what's the distinction? You know, I'm offering a distinction. I think it has to do with processing, with whatever our definition of information is going to be. You know, you take these events and you use them as information. And it's not enough that there's quote-unquote information there. You know, a fossil is information, but it takes a cognitive creature. If a book were to be written, is there information? The information happens when somebody decodes it. It's the same way with a footprint in the sand. Is it information? Well, yeah, in the sense that it's potentially decodable by a cognitive creature. But it's just a physical reality when it's there on its own until a cognitive creature comes, because it's not that cognitive creatures create the physical reality. It's already there. It's that the concept of information has to do with cognitive creatures perceiving reality. Information has to do with the way they interpret their perceptions. And then they exploit that information to increase their survival. It's something in that cycle. And when I grant agency, so to speak, when I say to myself, hey, other people are really having subjective experiences. They have likes and dislikes, and they really love, I can't see why that person loves that person, but I can imagine that, okay, they do. They say they do, and I grant that. And the same criteria I grant that, I don't see how I can't grant it to the animals and really all the living things. Other than, through some fiat or some, well, I can't imagine, a paramecium having an internal feeling. Because I think that's also it. It's like you think of this subjective thing and there's this holodeck and you're experiencing it. Yeah, I think the paramecium experiences its own holodeck. It doesn't have vision and sound populating its spaces, but just like vision is different from sound, there's sense spaces that are, and touch is different from that. Well, the paramecium has some sense space that is, again, orthogonal. It's different in kind to those other two things, but it still maps to space, still maps back to our 3D reality. You can see them, moving in 3D, making three-dimensional choices. And not all of them do that, but you can tell ones that are. Somehow it maps, but it's a different sense space. And in that sense space that they do have, not vision, not sound, they're having feelings in that space. Like, well, why not? Well, I mean, I'm the one that's like, why not? And you're like, well, wow, could that happen? Well, the same mechanism it happens with us. Well, show me the organelle. What do you mean, show me the organelle in the human mind? It's distributed. Distributed systems can somehow feel conscious. We know that if we believe that neurons can be conscious. They're single cells in a group. And you want to say, well, other groups of single cells and other networks of single cells can't feel it. Well, why? Tell us why the network, because according to what we know about network theory, network effects come from communication. Not from the medium of communication, but any medium you could communicate across. We know cells could communicate across with just chemical and vascular media. We know that. So, but the basic thing, it does come down because, one, it's like you just see this fundamental difference. When I followed along, I remember as a kid learning about this biology. Of course, we all know now that there's germs when we're kids, but to me, it's just tinier and tinier bugs. When I actually started getting to see those things behave, I'm like, those are creatures. If you had no microscopes and suddenly somebody gave you a 400 time power microscope and you started seeing these things, you'd figure out they were alive. They're alive. You don't have to go, but what's the mechanism inside? I mean, it's like it's acting alive. We can figure out what the mechanism is afterwards. Oddly enough, it's all things that even look a little bit alive have DNA fragments, RNA involved. So you might want to think about that. It's kind of significant.